All right, hello. Let's do another dev diary. This is not really a super complete one. I've not really been working too much on the game in the last couple of months because I've just been very busy with work because I still work for full time elsewhere. Um, and yeah, I'm just going to show some of the UI stuff that I've done that's changed and some of the corporation stuff that I've done that has changed. As I alluded to in my posts, sadly, turns out the corporation stuff that I thought of basically at around the same time Sphere of Influence was getting released. So obviously Paradox has had this idea before I had the idea, basically, but we're implementing it at about the same time. So it was I tried to not rip off an idea and I accidentally ripped off an idea. So imagine that. So anyway, let's look at these new menus so I can explain further. So basically, what's gonna be different in this game is that buildings are now going to be part of corporations, and corporations are going to be the things in charge of like production and getting efficiency and all sorts of things over time. Now, I also noticed that Paradox has added a nationalization button, which guess what? This button also nationalizes um, a corporation. So you can see here, like there's tax rate, there's government ownership. Government ownership is not really implemented yet. It's basically just, well, it's implemented, but it's basically just a binary value, true or false. It's either government owned or it's a private entity. And if it's government owned, then you pay all the wages, but you also get all the profit as the state. Speaking of, here's the balance sheet that's been implemented. This is a lot of this stuff has already been in the background of the game for months, if not years, but it just hasn't been visualized. So you have consumption taxes, land tax, corporation tax, army costs, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. You know, like for example, you can do individual taxes on corporations to kind of adjust them. Corporations have innovation rating, which is based on the competitiveness of your economy, which is based on how many different corporations you have that are competing for the same things. So there's all these like ideas, which I am sure, like I don't know if all of them are going to be in sphere of influence, but at least the like corporations and nationalization are ideas that I had in around the middle of like May. Actually, no, it must have been earlier, right? Anyway, there are ideas that I've had like for like 2 months or something like that. So the people at Paradox have had them for longer, presumably. But it's just sad for me because it basically just I've already like kind of copied a lot of what Victoria 3 is supposed to be, and now even the things where I thought, haha, this is where I can have my own ideas and like kind of exceed what Victoria 3 is, or put my own spin on it. Turns out um a lot of it is going to be in Spheres of Influence, which is both good because guess what? Spheres of Influence is going to actually come out at some point and it's going to be an actual game people can play. But it's sad for me on a personal level because obviously it means that my ideas are not that unique, and that it's gonna look like I've copied it, even though it's of the like 99% that I've copied. This was gonna be the one thing that I wasn't gonna be copying, but here we are. I digress. So yeah, so there's these menus. There is now more characters in the game. So these are actually like they have jobs. Like for example, there's a stakeholder of No Name. There's a stakeholder of Xander's estate. All these like names are just completely randomly generated. So well, so yeah, you can see like for example, let's see if you can also adjust wages. So if you have like so this doesn't work if it's not a nationalized company or corporation. So if I press this button, it'll be nationalized, and then I can change the wage. You see that it like kind of like pops in because it still counts the adjustments even though it doesn't display them. So you can see that yeah, the wage is adjusted. So if I do this, for example, it's also going to mean that more people want to work here. This is the profit of the building. So if I give them all like a 9 wage, I actually don't know if the building's going to be profitable, but then I can like let the term pass and see, okay, what's going to happen now. Oh, you're right. It's not. Yeah, yeah, it does show government wages, but it doesn't show government. It doesn't show the um the loss, if a government building is loss making, it doesn't like subtract from the budget when it should. But yeah, yeah. So anyway, you can also just do individual taxes on certain companies, so that let's say you have a very profitable company, you can tax it a lot, or if you have like a, a company that's or a corporation that's struggling, you can tax them a bit less, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. That's all going to have some ramifications at some point in the future. But yeah, I wanted to just show that this game is being worked on, but it's being worked on incredibly slowly. I can show you here's where I implemented government ownership. This was like, when was this exactly? This was like a month ago, and we're on the economic overhaul branch, which all the work that I did was like a month ago, like a few days. So stuff is happening, but it's incredibly slow. Anyway, for the like 10 people still watching, um, thanks for watching. It's a struggle making a game that's difficult or that's complicated and also not doing it full time. Have a nice day. See you guys later.